Hi, everybody. Welcome to Discover College Soccer. Today, I'm lucky enough to be joined by Coach Gary from Northwest University. Welcome, Coach.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for being here. I know I appreciate you taking the time. I know you are the soccer coach as well as athletic director, so you got a lot going on there. So I appreciate the time. We're talking end of August, season's kicked off. Just out of curiosity, on the recruiting front, how much recruiting for, say, the class of 25s are you doing right now? Are you doing any 26 kind of recruiting? What's your timeline usually look like during the season?
Yeah, we're definitely trying to nail down our 25s. We've got our list together of probably about 60 names or so. And we're trying to just kind of start putting offers out to these players and see who decides they, want to come to Northwest, and we just kind of work our way down that list for the 25s. So we're pretty active and trying to get them signed right now, but we're not as active right now watching. We're just we don't have the time to get out and watch games and that type of stuff. With 26s, we're still kind of working on building those relationships and trying to identify the positions and players we're looking for. So our list on that group is a lot larger, and in some cases, I mean, we just haven't even gotten to that list where we're going to start offering uh, scholarships and stuff out to yet. So being in AI for us, we can offer 26s scholarships and opportunities now, but it's just a little bit early for that. So
Makes sense. Well, in terms of that identification process you talked about, obviously it's hard to get out these next few months. But when November, December, January rolls around, where are the places that you like to go? What tournaments, what events, where are you looking at to find players?
yeah, I mean, I think being here 22 years as the coach, I have a lot of former players that are high school coaches and community college coaches. So it's a lot of word of mouth for me right now. A lot of people. I also do some consulting for families and clubs on how to be recruited, and I often tell people, "You're recruiting me." That's probably a better way to look at it. You're recruiting me and the school that you want to go play for, as much as I'm trying to go out and find athletes as well. So I'll try to sometimes hit some holiday, Thanksgiving tournaments, that type of stuff. There's some good ones down in Portland. There's some down here at Starfire and Washington. Sometimes I've gone down to California, but it's probably for me less and less of attending tournaments in the fall, and it's more just word of mouth. And I probably average about 60 to 70 emails a day. That some emails have multiple recruits on them. So sometimes it'll be five recruits, sometimes it'll be two on one email, sometimes it's 15 to 20. So um, it's, I'm getting so many emails daily with athletes looking for a place to play. And so oftentimes, I'm getting a small percentage now, probably less than 30% from watching tournaments and getting out there and just cold trying to identify kids on my own. Oftentimes, if I go to a tournament, it's because people are emailing me saying, "Hey, I'm going to be at that tournament. Would you come take a look at me and give me some feedback and stuff like that?" So
No, absolutely
yeah.
makes a lot of sense. Well, what about ID camps? They seem to be growing in popularity these days. Do you guys run your own, or do you or your staff work other ID camps? Are they an important part of your process at all?
Yeah, I have mixed feelings about ID camps for a couple of reasons. I mean, the one thing I would say about ID camps is it's a great place to get yourself on that campus. So if you see yourself maybe going to that school, whether you're an athlete or not, it's a great way to get on campus, meet some people, meet the coaching staff, that kind of thing. But ID camps, I mean, if you're really trying to play soccer for that school, a coach is going to bring you out, have them train in a practice session. They're going to have you come out and kind of do a recruit session just with the team. So it's it's a long shot, as far as like making a team from an ID camp. And some of the ID camps are fundraisers. They're just fundraisers for the university. So you just have to kind of be careful with that. They're not all that way, but you just got to have to ask the right questions and then see. We do run ours, but we usually try to identify players that we are interested in. So it's more of an invitational type of an ID camp versus just a blanket email saying, "Hey, come out and come play with us." It's more of an invitational. So
Okay. Well,
yeah,
when you're seeing these players play, whether it's at a tournament, whether it's through whatever method, ID camp, anything else, what is it that you are looking for in a player? What makes a player somebody you want to recruit, whether that's on the field attributes or off the field stuff?
yeah. We're looking for, probably when it comes to the play side of the thing, is just consistency. What are they consistently doing well? Sometimes athletes think, "Oh, I had that one really good play in that game. Somebody's going to like me." Well, that's not necessarily the case. We're looking for athletes who, throughout the course of a game, are consistently playing good defense, consistently communicating with their teammates, consistently making the right pass, or consistently making the right decision. So consistency is a big part of finding players that will fit what we're doing here. We're looking for athletes that are working hard. They're not just working hard when the ball's around them. What are they doing when their team doesn't have the ball? Are they back in defensive shape? And are they doing the things that the game requires, or the moments require of them? Are they doing those things, or are they just watching? Are they arguing with a teammate? Are they arguing with the officials? How are they treating um, their coaches? And even for us, I think we even take it a step further. We oftentimes will watch how are they getting along with their parents, how do they get along with the families on a sideline. So it's just kind of like we're trying to encompass the full athlete. Look at the character of the player as well as the soccer piece of it. It's kind of everything for us is that full look of the athlete, not just that one or two plays that were maybe brilliant for that game.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Well, let's talk about the school itself a little bit more. You've been there a long time. You have multiple
Yeah.
positions there at the school, so you'll give us some good insights. But what is it about Northwest that you like? What are some awesome things about the school? Maybe some things we wouldn't even know just by going through the website.
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, it's a Christian university, so it's a faith-based school. And it's not for everybody. I mean, that's the bottom line. It's not for everybody, but it has a unique place for those people that are looking to be, at a faith-based school. It's a smaller environment, so I think it's a good place for students that aren't looking for that big, massive, big campus. It's a smaller campus, and you get to know everybody. All the athletes know everybody. We've got about 160 athletes across all the sports, and so it's a tight knit, family oriented athletic department. We got great coaches, good solid teams. And on top of that, it's a really good education too. Northwest, puts out we're in the top 25 of U.S. News and Report. So very good academics, good staff and faculty here. I mean, everybody here really cares about the students, and them finding success. Being an NEI school, we're student athletes first here. I would say we have athletes go pro, but we're not necessarily turning out pro athletes, on a yearly basis. That's just not kind of the size of school and it being NEI and what we're about. It's happened, but we're producing, quality people graduating and heading into their degrees, and have just, are learning through being on teams, character and, good skills for life, that kind of thing. So it's a small campus. It's about 90 acres, I think. So, but it has that campus feel, that old university campus feel. They've got these nice brick buildings and campus and stuff. So it's got that university feel to it, even though we're under 1,000 students.
Awesome. Um, well, one of the things you mentioned, student athlete first, and there is that student component. A lot of times it's a tough transition from balance to balance, the demands of a college sport along with
Yeah.
the new college academic environment. So what what kind of support systems does the school offer to help, new student athletes be successful both in the classroom as well as the on the field?
Yeah, we've got an academic success center that is very supportive of our athletes, and so they work with athletes when they're missing classes or falling behind in classes, or if you go on a long road trip, you can work through their department to help make things up. They're kind of like the liaison with the faculty, and so just making sure we're not no one's falling behind. You can get help writing papers. You can make up your tests there, that kind of thing. So that department's absolutely amazing. I'd say though too is I think our coaching staff and current athletes, so like returning athletes, really step up and take care of the new athletes, help them get acclimated for the academic side of things. And there's a lot of tutoring that goes on within teams. You could also use the academic center for that as well. But I think the faculty are just so supportive of athletics at Northwest. I mean, it's just very supportive. Um, as long as the athletes are communicating well with the faculty, we have great rapport with the faculty. They're always wanting to see the athletes be successful. So it's kind of a two-way street. But as long as the athlete's showing up to class and doing what they're supposed to be doing, the faculty here are just totally on board with supporting the athletes and in their endeavors. So it's a pretty cool place academically for the athletes.
Yeah, sounds like it. Well,
Yeah,
let's fast forward. Let's say it's October, middle of October, the heart of that conference season. Walk me through what's a typical week look like for your players in terms of when our classes, practices, meals, game cadence, all that stuff.
yeah, yeah. Monday, Wednesday, Friday is normally a class schedule. So if you have a class on Monday, you normally have it on Wednesday and Friday. Tuesday, Thursdays would be the same. If you have class Tuesday, you most likely have it Thursday. Um, breakfast is usually 7 to 8:30. Lunch is 11:30 to 1, and dinner is 5 to 6:30. Practices range starting at 3 o'clock to 5 or 3:30 to 5:30, depends on the day and class schedule. We kind of work with the athletes to find out who's going to miss or who's going to be showing up late to class. I mean, to practice from class. Um, we are in a conference where we play Friday, Saturday games. So we'll play Friday, we'll play Saturday. Sunday is a full day off. We never do anything on Sunday. We just take the day off. Monday, for any athlete that played in 120 minutes or more in the two games combined, um, Mondays are still recovery day for them. It's recovery in the weight room. There's no practice, no training for them per se that's heavy or hard. It's just recovery. And then anybody that didn't play 120 minutes or more gets a full training on that Monday. So that way they don't fall behind. They keep up their fitness. Tuesday is usually a competitive day, so we've got the starters back out of those guys that played in 120 or more. Tuesday is competitive. It's usually small sided, go into goal type stuff, smaller areas. We just have more pressure situations on the field. And then Wednesday is more of sometimes we'll get it out there and we'll do a 30-minute scrimmage on the big field to kind of walk through. And it's kind of like start, stop a little bit about, hey, this is what we're trying to do to beat the team we're playing on Friday. So we work on our shape and some of our pattern play and a little bit of that. And then Thursday is either a game prep day if we're at home, we do some shooting or crossing. And then if it's a road game, then we're traveling on that Thursday. So that's kind of what our routine is starting about the second week of September once we get into conference.
Okay, awesome. Well, let's talk a little bit
Yeah.
more about the team. Um, is there a roster size that you guys find is ideal that you're trying to hit? And do you have a reserve team?
Yeah, we have a reserve team this year. My roster size this year is 34. I like to keep a bigger roster, even if I don't have reserve team per se or reserve games. For the pure purposes, I like to scrimmage a lot in my training sessions, and there actually be times where we'll have 10 guys out on the sideline for some reason or another. And it's like, you know, we're pulling in an assistant coach to, help us complete that 11 on 11 scrimmage. So I like to keep a bigger roster. I think it helps the team chemistry. We really like to preach, with our starters and our leaders to take some of these younger players and maybe even some of the less skilled players under their wings and kind of mentor them. So that's a big part, kind of what we're doing too with our first team type guys. So yeah, I like that bigger roster, but I probably average somewhere between 30 and 35 every year. Just depends on the year and who we were able to get in and that kind of thing. So
Okay, so that includes the
yeah,
first team and the reserve squad. Total is about
yeah,
35. Okay, no, that's
yeah, yeah. We train together. We don't do any separate trainings. There's a few times where we have to hold some players out depending on what we're doing. But we train together. We don't have separate trainings. We try to keep everybody together, which is, to be honest, is not always the easiest thing. But I think it's the for our program, it's worked well, and it's important that we're always together. And we're just trying to teach that the most valuable person is our 34th player. That's the most valuable person on our program. It's not our top goal scorer. It's not our top keeper. It's not our top 10. It's number 34. So as long as we're doing that, it seems to work really well. And it just creates a family chemistry on our program that we're pretty proud of. We had an alumni game a couple of years ago. We had 60 alumni show up. We just really try to keep this family atmosphere with what we're doing. Everybody here's an Eagle, and it just seems to work really well for us.
yeah, that's great. Well, besides the roster of players, you got a roster of staff. So talk to me
Yeah,
about your staff. What role does everybody play? Maybe some support staff in the athletic department that help out with the team as well. What's everybody doing there?
yeah. This is probably one of the first years I haven't had all alumni staff for me. Usually, it's all alumni that have played for me or on my staff. But this year, it just didn't work that way. My first assistant, his name's Titus Nixon. He just happens to be my son-in-law as well. He married my daughter, and he played for me. But he's the defensive coach. He's our fitness and strength coach as well. He's a guy that just gets in and motivates them. He's played at USL2. He's played at a high level. He's from Nigeria. So he's fantastic with the guys, great motivator. He's been here. He's been around the program now about 6 or 7 years. So guys love him. Picked up a new guy. His name's Jet. He came from Whitworth University. So he's new. Was a center back. He's been fantastic with our back line, which has been great because we have a lot of new backline players. So he's done a good job there. We've got another guy named Gabriel. He's new, a little younger coach. He's 21, so he's actually the same age as some of the players. Didn't play college ball, but understands the game. He's just got a fantastic mind for the game. Sees the positional stuff, sees where guys should be. I mean, he's great just breaking down film. So he's really kind of like my support staff behind the scenes, breaking down film for me. And he's actually getting more involved on the practice field now as he gets to know the guys because it's his first year. So it's just kind of a new environment for him. Um, Also have another coach that's a volunteer coach in Portugal that does a lot of film breakdown for me as well. So he's supporting us from over there, does a great job, helps us with some of our scouts and film breakdown. And then we got really good staff. We have good training staff here. We have great assistant AD. We've just got a great SID. Again, it goes back to like I was saying before. Everybody here wants to see the athletes be successful, so everyone's supportive and helpful. Again, it's really like it's just a big family. Everyone's helping everybody. It's just not about their department. It's, hey, can I help volleyball team, I'm going to help out. Volleyball coaches, like, hey, can I help the soccer team? I'll help the soccer team. It's like just kind of back and forth. We've got support really from everybody. It's pretty awesome environment to work in. Just to be honest, it's been amazing.
Yeah, sounds like it. Well, what about you as the head coach? Talk to us about your coaching style, the style of play you're looking to do there.
Yeah, I'm not a yeller. I'm not a screamer. I don't I don't like to coach that way. I coached that way earlier in my career. This is my 30th year in college athletics. Um, I've grown from that where it's more instructional, more about teaching them this is how the game should be played and trying to create a standard and show them what that looks like, and then encourage them to elevate their game to that level. And so we trained the first 2 weeks in a 4-3-3 offensively, defensively a 4-2-3-1, and we've had two scrimmage games, and it just flopped. It didn't work, and we had to take a step back on Sunday and said I got to change this formation. So on Monday, I put in a new formation. Uh, a little bit of a version defensively of a 5-4-1, but then offensively, it changes into a 3-5-2. And we put it in on Monday, and we played Gonzaga University on Thursday. So it was a risk for them being a D1 school, but the guys bought in to it. We did really well. When we played Gonzaga, we only lost 4-1, and he was very complimentary of the guys' discipline and energy and their shape. So it's kind of a you go into a season thinking, okay, these are my players, this is my formation. Um, we got to play this, and I just had to take a step back and say this is not working. I got to let that go. What's the right formation for us? So right now it looks like it could be this 3-5-2. So we're going to give that a go this week and see how it goes. We got 3 games this week, so we're going to see how what happens. And we're doing that with our reserves too. So we don't train our reserves differently per se. So we switch formations. We all kind of try to stay in the same formation because at any point in time we could pull up on the reserves to play with the varsity team. So yeah,
Okay. Well, um, you've given us a ton of information. Don't want to keep you here too long. I really appreciate the time. I know it's you got a lot there. It's game day for your reserves, but um, want to ask you one last question. As someone who's been in the college game for a long time, if you had one piece of advice or one piece of information that you think all recruits or prospective student athletes should know, what would that be?
if you're sitting back waiting to be recruited, um, it's probably not going to happen. It's a very small percentage. I was once told it's less than 3% of all collegiate athletes are getting a phone call or an email or a text. It's such a small percentage. I really encourage um, athletes to take a look at the school they want to attend, look for a degree they want to get, um, and and then look for those schools. What are those schools available about? Kids, students sometimes want to say, oh, I don't want to live in Washington. I want to go to California where it's sunny. Okay, that's great. You want to go where it's sunny, but you also need to figure out what degree do you want to take. Does anyone have the degree you want? And do you want to play? How high level do you want to play? I mean, there's a soccer team out there in college for every skill level. There's junior college, so the JCs, the community colleges. You've got D3, D2, D1, NAIA. I mean, there's so many places to play. But for me, I can't get out and see everybody. So I encourage you just to email coaches, and don't just blanket email them. Find out something about the university. Get in there and say, "Hey, coach, I'm a center back. I see you have two center backs graduating. I saw your season was okay. You guys were like 6 and 7. Hey, I'd be interested in coming to your school. Hey, can you come out and take a look at me? Or if you live too many states away, it's like, hey, here's some game film for you. Like, just you got to kind of get in there and engage and look and see what's going on in their program a little bit. You just that'll help with your email because coaches are going to look at your email probably for less than 5 seconds. If there's something on that email that doesn't like spark their interest, they're it's just going to the trash. So quickly put on your GPA. Coaches always want to know what GPA is because there's more money in GPA than there is in soccer scholarships. So they're always looking for the GPA. Something that you actually know something about the school. I mean, you can't be email the Lions and say, "Hey, coach, I want to be an Eagle," when they're the Lions. Like you just can't do those kinds of things. You just got to it's got to be an intimate email. It's got to be a serious email, and coaches respond. They will, but they also know which ones are real and are just blanket emails. So, but emailing a coach and recruiting a coach, you have to recruit a coach. You got to find that coach in school you want to play for. Email them. Don't give up on the first email. Email them again. Email them a third time. Email them a fourth time. I mean, coaches are busy. So it's not that they don't want to get back to you. It's just they're busy. Especially like right now for me, August to November, we are super busy. Yet I'm still getting 60 emails a day with kids that want to play. Like how am I going to get through all that? And sometimes we just don't. Sometimes it takes weeks or months before we reply back when the season kind of starts to slow down a little bit for us. But you recruit the coach. That's my biggest advice. Recruit the coach. There are places to play. You just gotta get in front of the coaches.
Love it. Love it. Couldn't agree more. Well, Coach, wish you the best of luck this season, and we'll check back in with you, and hopefully you'll be hanging that conference championship banner. All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.